Right, so I have work in the morning. This is the end of my 3-day weekend. So I'm going to get this video out. This is one of a bunch of videos I've been wanting to get out, and obviously if anybody's been paying attention to my last couple of videos, last several videos actually, you'll know why that is a bit harder than normal. So I'm going to go through these 3 tabs here. And you see this first one, this actually comes from TikTok. It's been a wave going on TikTok, and it's been here for a bit now. It's not new, like this didn't just break. But TikTok, everyone is broke. I will post this link so you can just go straight to it and watch these at your leisure, to your heart's content. However, I'm not going to play these, but if you notice, these are all mashups. Now, some of these kind of repeat from other people, but these are all mashups. So these are all a bunch of different people going off about various types of inflation and price increase, mainly about rent and food. Mainly about rent and food. But inflation, this and that, working, this, that, the other, everything. So, like I said, I will have a link to that. Just on and on and on and on and on. And if you notice, Hooters waitress tells cops I can take it all. I bet she can. Anyway, if you notice, all of these are millennials at oldest on down. Well, there's probably a few Gen X sprinkled in. This one lady right here in the middle, not her, in the middle, she is a boomer, or at least old Gen X, I think. And she wasn't even going off about herself. She was going off about her either millennial or Gen Z kid. So there's that. So again, this ties into the next one. Well, the next 2. Yeah. This one I will also have a link to. Don't be a quote-unquote victim of inflation. Now, don't be a victim of inflation. How in the hell are you going to be immune from a dynamic of, I don't know, economic math, a dynamic of society mixed in with economic math? Like, don't be a... This retard actually had the nerve to... before this thing goes in... Hold on one second. Because I actually had to restart this video. Okay. I have to turn off the smooth scrolling because this thing is old. And I actually had to redo this video because this thing went and moved. And went off to something else and I couldn't get back to it. This retard honestly has the nerve to go and name it that. Don't be a victim of inflation. How? That is about as possible as saying don't be a victim of the wind blowing on you or something, or don't let the wind blow on you, or like don't be a victim of sunlight. Or he is so freak. All right. Well, you know what? Let's go. Let's go.
I always resist when bank rates.
By the way, fair use. All this is fair use. Fair use. Y'all know how this goes. Don't play dumb.
Senior industry analyst says, suggesting that people aren't cutting back and using credit cards it's because of the rising cost of inflation. No, they're not cutting back to offset inflation. Duper. That's what's really going on. And so, you know, and I get it. It's not fair.
No, you don't get it. You do not get it, but let's keep going.
I don't like inflation. I don't want that to take your check away from you. But don't be a victim.
Look at the way he says that. Don't be a victim. I mean, just the way he says it. Don't be a victim. Stiff upper lip and all that bullshit, right? And the way he's saying that, you'd think it's some right wing, it is a right wing, conservative and all that, talking to black people or something. Like you'd literally think that. However, in this case, you're talking to everyone. Okay? And saying stuff like this, don't be a victim, and and unapologetic and all that shit. You all know the kind of talking, but you all know the buzzwords. That might work when you want to slam on black people and tell them how it's their fault and they have no one to blame but themselves. Well, now you're telling that to everyone else, and once you put everybody else, it's majority non-black. In fact, it might even be majority white. This kind of talk might work well when you want to slam on black people, but it's not going to work well on the non-blacks, especially the white people who are used to getting their way, who are used to, as a society, as a collective, as a group, being on top. And now they are finding out, so this is what it's like to be on the bottom. This is what it's like to be struggling. This is what it's like to gotta make some moves, gotta hustle, gotta, For the ladies, I might have to go and sell something, if you know what I mean. For the dudes, I might have to go and sling this rock. As this gets worse, as this thing gets worse for millennials and Gen Z and all that, they're going to look at you boomers and maybe even a little bit of Gen X, but boomers on back, for the rest of you that's still alive, and they're going to be like, you know what? How we saw black people growing up, was it really their fault? Was it really due to them being all of what you told us they were? Lazy, low IQ and all that? Because here it is. We did everything you told us. We worked hard. We did the school. We are intelligent with the high IQ because we graduated college. So say according to society's standards, we are intelligent. And here it is. We are at the bottom just like them now. And slowly getting closer to the bottom of where they know how to survive, but we don't because we've never been there, right? All of what you told black people from, 2000s or 90s on back to the beginning of this country, you're now telling non-blacks, you're now telling your kids and grandkids, and that's not going to work. Because not only does it mean that all of what you said to black people was BS, or said to your kids and grandkids about black people was BS. But it then means, hey, maybe they're not so inferior, maybe we're not so superior, and yeah. Let's keep going.
You're not a victim. You're a victim of the person in your mirror.
Ooh. How do you like hearing that? Especially millennials and Gen Z on down. How do you like hearing that? Shit that's been in place from before you were even born is now coming home to roost. Gen Z might not have even been born. Millennials were freaking kids, single-digit age kids. Probably even low single-digit age kids. Gen X were probably like the hot 18-year-olds or whatever. Right? Boomers are probably trying to fuck them, or the silent, or the World War II generation, or whatever the hell, I don't know. How do you like hearing that? How do you like hearing that? That somehow it's your fault. You have no control of the politics of this country. You have no control of the international whatever. But somehow it's you have no control of jobs going overseas or anything. But somehow it's your fault. Okay. Let's see how well this works for everybody.
And the idea, here's another plan. If you think getting into debt to maintain your lifestyle is going to maintain your lifestyle, there's an end to that. Mm-hmm.
Technically, that's true, although I literally did just that. I went and maxed out all 5 of my credit cards to help me get by while I finished school. and now I'm going to be on the path to be able to pay it back rather quickly. Keep all of that in mind for later, by the way. But technically that might be correct. However, if anybody's seen that PBS special on credit cards and the history of credit cards, and well, not even the history of credit cards, the history of, I think, debt. It was some PBS special. The credit cards, starting from when, like what, the 70s, when wages started decoupling, by the 90s, people were started using credit cards, and certainly to the 2000s, started using credit cards not to keep up with the Joneses, but just to maintain their standard of living. Maintain their basic standard of living. They were using it to make ends meet, not to go over those ends. And that started from way the hell back in the 90s. Again, when millennials were single-digit age kids.
There's a mathematical into that. It eventually comes and bites a boomerang. Comes back around, smacks you in the head, and says, "Hey, dummy, I always resist."
There you go. Don't be a victim. Boomer is going to tell the people that are so affected by this right now, which by and large has been millennial and Gen Z, don't be a victim. Okay, so there you have it. This guy is so fucking lost because the people that he would like to cater to are people like him or his generation that had it fucking easy. Okay, they had it easy. And now they're the ones with the majority of the money, so he can talk to his own group, okay, with some sort of pseudo-authority. But the moment he has to start looking past Gen X towards millennials and Gen Z, that's it. And his show is pretty much... I see his show wrapping up after a while, because, you know, the generation before his are on the way out if they're not already gone. Well, some of them are still here, obviously. His generation is now the one that's going to be facing death down. And Gen X is going to take this generation's place. This guy cannot say anything to anyone past Gen X. Okay? So he better enjoy it while he can, because this show... Okay, well, let's go on to the last one. Now, even though this video, by the way, Undead Chronic, be awesome, be cool, fair use. Come on now, don't be a bitch. You know what this is. This video is not... This is 8 months ago, and this one is whenever the hell ago, not 8 months ago. It was more recent. However, you see this. I mean, this guy is slamming on him. The guy that slams on corporations about work, I forgot his name, but maybe it might even be here. Forgot his name, but he slams on all kinds of corporations, and he slams on Dave Ramsey a lot. Like he basically made a YouTube channel slamming on corporations and the corporate hamster wheel. Forgot his name though, but we're gonna get into this. I'm gonna play this through. Feel free to go to his channel and Undead Chronic's channel. And yes, I'm very well aware of Undead Chronic's stance and his stance on things and how he views certain things and races and stuff. I'm very well aware of that. Yeah, okay. You think he's the only one on YouTube or anywhere else? I'm not going to let that faze me. So feel free to go give him some credit by going to his channel and then just letting it play in the background after this. But we are going to play this. I am going to play this, and I'm going to give my own commentary on certain things, because certain things that this idiot's going to say and Undead is going to counter, and I am going to also throw in my 2 cents. Remember what I said, keep in mind for later? There's a reason for that, and here it goes.
Boomers are mad. Boomers are seething. They are upset that young men aren't working 80 hours a week to make them more money. This is Dave Ramsey. He made a lot of money selling economic books to fools. And he wants to talk about how young men are becoming pussies. I guess he calls them wussies. We all know what he means to say. Because they are unwilling to break their bodies and spend all day working for soulless companies that are run by banker boys to make more money for the hyper elite and rich.
And one other thing, this is 8 months ago, as you can see. This whole TikTok thing. Okay, I can hyper scroll now. Yeah. This is 2 weeks ago, 4 months ago, 11 days ago. In fact, we can even refresh it. Just in case, although I picked this up today, again, 2 weeks ago, 1 month ago, 13 days ago, right? So, yeah, let that sink in.
Why don't you work 80 hours a week? I know you won't be able to afford reasonable health care. I know you won't be able to afford your own land.
Notice what he's saying. Again, these things are mashups from a few days to a few weeks ago. And... okay. And... all of these well, okay, maybe this has gone a bit too far. All of these mashups here are from TikToks that are probably only at most a couple months ago. Okay, so let that sink in.
Know that we used our corporations and social media companies to destroy any kind of chance you have at getting a valuable wife and having children, but you should just man up. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps and work 80 hours a week to make me money.
Ooh, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Now, which group has heard that for the past, how many 100 years now? Ah, yes, black people. Yes. The blacks. The blacks. That bootstrap talk is now being told to who? Millennials and Gen Z. The same kind of talk that you all went and gave black people as a whole because they were just so uneducated and unintelligent and lazy and all of that, you are now giving to millennials and Gen Z, the ones who went to college, who did everything that they were told to do, and you're going to tell them the same exact thing that you went and told the supposed low IQ, unintelligent, and all, and that's going to fly? Okay, let's keep going.
Let's see what he has to say.
Having a similar discussion is this shift in the workplace right now that we've got a large number of jobs available and no one applying for them. There's a shortage of labor.
Oh shit, there's a shortage of like freaking $100,000, $200,000 jobs. There's a shortage of people applying for those jobs. Jobs that can support families, support even individual people, much less families plural. Oh wow, oh shit, oh damn. Keep going.
For the first time in post-War War II America. We've never seen this in modern America. And the reason there's a shortage is not because the jobs are so plentiful, it's because there are, according to this article from Fox News, quoting Micro and quoting this economist, there are now 7 million able-bodied males between 25 and 40 years old that are able to work and are not even looking for work.
Males. Oh, this retard Micro with his I made a video about that, the dirty jobs and stuff. I made a video about that way the hell back. In fact, let's do that. My channel, new tab. My channel. I made a video about that way the hell back. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Dirty Jobs, micro, and you can go look that up. It's somewhere here. Not that I'm trying to get too far away from micro. Dirty jobs. Okay, this was 3 years ago. I'm not sure if it's that far away. Yes. Okay, yeah, it is. This one right here. Blue collar versus white collar war created the debt. I believe Micro's thing was in this video. So, wow, was that long ago? So there you go. Feel free to go watch that one after you're done with this. But males, it singles out males, even though, interestingly enough, the ones that are complaining a lot are women. And I guess because they can do that because women, but men aren't allowed to do that by and large. Okay. But yet they're sitting here slamming on the males, not just everybody of a certain generation, but males. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's correct, and it's staggering. And so the point here is that what's going on? This is called.
You guys run an economics podcast, apparently. Look at yourself, Ramsey, Mr. Man Titties. It's called supply and demand, boomer boy. You think a 35-year-old dude is wanting to work at a fast food place? You think a 25-year-old who got out of college with a degree he was told that would let him have a family? You think he wants to work at Taco Bell?
Man, y'all gets no bitches. You gets no bitches. Shit. It's amazing how we're focusing on men, but yet women have been the one talking about how they don't need men and how they're killing it and boss bitching it up and the boss bitchification of women. Okay. But yet we're still looking at men now. Alright. And yeah, it's boss bitch ad infinitum, but if you notice, it's mainly women that are complaining about the inflation and all of that. Alright. Move right along.
I'm in a very highly specialized field. Yeah, there's a bunch of job openings, but the people I know who are qualified for such jobs, it's not like they're sitting at home not working. They'll take a job. The jobs that are going unfilled that nobody wants to do are service industry jobs. You get that, right? Nobody wants to serve the mystery mutt goyslop, berating them, assaulting them, and the entitled boomers who expect to be treated like it's 1985. When I was a kid, I went to this place and got good service. When you were a kid, we weren't getting replaced. When you were a kid, taxes were much lower. When you were a kid, we still had a fantasy of a community.
And also when they were kids, if I'm not mistaken, the minimum wage was such that had that kept up with inflation, the minimum wage today would be what? Somewhere around late $20 an hour, early $30 an hour, something like that. So there's that.
We are living in the product of the boomers' political decisions, and they're upset that those decisions are affecting them.
Correct. And yet he's going to sit here and say, don't be a victim of inflation. Don't be a victim of inflation. Inflation caused not by millennials or Gen Z, but don't be a victim of inflation. Okay. Okay.
The number of times I see boomers see that customer service screaming, yelling, catching, over a 19-year-old, over a 15-year-old high school student just trying to make money to buy a prom ticket. It's disgusting. You know, Boomer Boy, back in the day when you went to prom, you didn't have to pay more than $5 for a prom ticket. Because all of these community events, all these community venues would gladly have high school proms at their place as a community service. Now you got to shell out $120. I think it's per person. I don't know. I haven't been to prom in years. And what?
Shit, my prom back in 2005 cost me between getting the limo for the dates and all that stuff and all that, renting the tux. And really, it wasn't even much of a rental because I couldn't fit in their shit, so I had to go get my own stuff. So I essentially had to go and get my own tux, so it wasn't even a rental. That cost me $500. And I had to work that shit. So I had to work work and get that money. And there was no Uber back then. There was none of that. You know, I didn't even have a car back then. I had to take public transport, and I had to go work a job, save up the money from way the hell back at the beginning of the year for the end of the year, prom time. So there's that. And that was 2005 again, when I was leaving high school.
The dollar, it keeps on getting less in value, but we all know minimum wage isn't going up. I think some states will still pay you $7.50. $7.50 an hour to get yelled at by entitled boomers who should probably be in the ground right now. Nah, they're not interested in that.
Causing massive economic problems. Before we look at the social, very quick glance here. When you have a gap in the jobs like we've had now for the last 2 years, then you've got real small businesses being hurt by this. Think about the restaurants in your small town. They can't find people to work, and it's affecting their livelihood. Then the other economic factor is, of course, we saw and we still see a war for talent. And so wages have gone up tremendously in the last 2 years, which has now led to a stubborn inflationary period that we were in. Now, that's the economic piece. The social piece, what's crazy about this is that you've got 6.8 million people that last month, according to the latest jobs report and the Census Bureau.
Wages have gone up, and that caused an inflation. Huh, interesting. So if we put the wages down to like Chinese sweatshop wages, where nobody will be able to afford the shit, no matter how cheap it is, I guess that'll be good, right? Right?
100 million Americans weren't working last month. Now, half of them
100 million.
100 million. But half
were working.
No, hold on.
No, we don't have 100 million unemployed. There's only 300 million in the whole state.
Didn't say they were unemployed. I'm saying just not working, period. I'm just breaking the numbers down.
Oh, yeah, like toddlers.
Half are retired.
Okay.
Another 12% are dealing with some type of long-term illness, or disability. Okay. And then 5.6 million people saying, I don't want to go back to work because they're scared of COVID. And then the number is right at 7 million that are saying, I don't want to work. And those are the men. So
how interesting it is that those are the supposed men that are saying that, even though all of what you said is just people, which I'm assuming means men and women. And if you search in here, in this stuff, if you search properly, or maybe just type it in here, you will find another trend happening. In fact, let's do it right now. Another trend happening. Let's do it right now. Whoa, bitch. Sorry about that. Did not expect that. This thing shouldn't auto start. It never does. I don't know what the hell that was. Okay, and what the hell is all this? I didn't search for this. Demons. What the fuck is all this? I never searched for this bitch or whatever. Don't want to work. 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 See, they lied to younger loneliness. Avoid these. Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, there is a trend of going. What the hell is it, women? What the hell was it? I don't dream of labor. Ah, yes. I don't dream of labor. Okay, that's what I remember it was. A bunch of women. I mean, yeah, I don't dream of labor either. But majority women, not men, majority women not wanting to work. They did not want. They're not trying to. They're not trying to work. They're not trying to work. You know? I don't dream of labor. That was women, not men. But yet somehow, the men are getting slammed as not wanting to work. Women found out that working is not the Elysian fields that feminism told them it was. They found out that only the Harvey Weinsteins out here are getting to bang the 18-year-old girl over the desk, or on her back on the desk, or at least she said she was 18. And the vast majority of men get to sit here and hear her getting banged out from their cubicle. The vast majority of men are not going out here and banging secretaries left and right. They're not. No. As we now all should know, it should be common knowledge. Giving nice round numbers, the bottom 80% of men are getting no ass. Okay? So I don't know who the fuck these dudes are banging, which bitch these dudes are banging, considering the bottom 80% of men gets no bitches. Right? But feminism told you all, well, while you're here slaving away, barefoot and pregnant, getting your ass kicked every single day, they're out there banging all the women are getting their ass kicked. So who the hell is this bitch that apparently is not at home getting her ass kicked, but she's out there working with the men, being the secretary, getting pumped full of God knows what by all of these dudes? Like, nobody thought of this. Nobody thought of this. Nobody thought that did not make any sense. All us women are also oppressed at home. So who the hell are these women that are out in the workplace with these men being the cum dumpster? Nobody thought to question. All right, moving right along.
The crucial factor that's going on here is you've got two factors. One, you've had decades and decades of entitlements. Starts with welfare, and then if you look at during...
Question, Boomer Boys. Does that welfare include Social Security?
Uh-oh.
Does that welfare include your local police force?
Oops. See, you all tried that welfare shit, and despite the fact that, again, it should also be common knowledge for anybody who's going to be honest, and especially intellectually honest, that white women are the biggest recipients of welfare, followed by... I think black women are actually third. I think there's actually another one up after white women that receive it. But white women are now and always have been the biggest recipients of welfare. Okay? Despite that, they only mention welfare, and especially this being conservative, right-wing, whatever the hell, you know full well what that meant. Welfare queens. You know full well what that meant. And what that dog whistle and talking point was, a soundbite was supposed to have a picture in the audience minds of, okay? And Undead Chronic, despite his stance, is the one that calls it out. Hey, you want to talk about entitlements? And let's just be honest, Undead Chronic is not exactly him et al. And his ilk are not exactly... favored or friends of the non-whites, okay? Not exactly. And even he has to call that shit out. You want to sit here and talk about entitlements and welfare queens and all that? Well, Social Security. Who the hell is the biggest recipients of Social Security? Right. Okay. And no matter how you want to slice it, you can sit here and say, oh my God, well, of course white people are because they're the vast majority in this country. Well, yeah, but you know what? And from what I understand, whites live longer than blacks. So even, or everybody else, more or less than Asians, I guess. I don't know. So there's already less black people, and they don't live as long, so they don't collect as much Social Security. It's by simple logic, just simple logic. Okay? So who is the bigger drain due to entitlements? Right.
Does it? Because I'll tell you what, me and my Brutus, the young man I know I'm friends with, we don't need the cops. We don't need the cops. I've never had a cop defend me. I've never needed a cop. In fact, all the problems that people say you want cops for, all the problems I faced in my life, the cops made them much more difficult to deal with.
Huh. Is that right? You sure you're not black, Chronic? You sure your ass ain't black, man? Because, I can't see your face. I don't think I've ever seen your face. And, you know, you might have a voice changer to sound white or something, but right now you sounding mighty black, my boy. Son, sir, partner, right? You sounding mighty black right now. Because, black men, black people as a whole, black men specifically, have been saying that for how long now? Let's keep going. Just saying. Just saying.
So let's talk about Social Security. Huh? Yeah, let's talk about it. Ooh. Let's talk about all the things the Fed does to stabilize boomers' retirements. But 7 million young men aren't working. How many old boomers are in retirement right now? Interesting how that works.
During COVID, where people were getting payments every week, every month. All right, so that's an entitlement where they're disincentivized to actually go back to work. And then, Dave, I think the fact that for...
And those payments ended how long ago? I don't know of anybody that's been getting them from the start of, well, I guess the start of the first year of, after the first year of lockdown till now. Almost 4 years later. You got 3 checks. The amount that was sent to Ukraine and that probably gets sent to Israel every single year is probably infinitely more than all the checks put together that everybody managed to get. Okay? But yet, they're going to talk about handout and... Okay. I did not realize your ass could retire on the 3 measly checks that they went and gave us. Some of us. Because some of us, I got 3 checks. My girl, she did not get any checks. She instead got a tax reduction equal to what the checks were. Fucking hell. Okay. You know what? Yeah, shit. Let's just keep going.
For decades, we've literally... taken the pain away from our kids. We've removed the struggle. And I don't say this with jest, but I think when you look at things like everybody gets a trophy for participation, and
here we go.
Nobody learns the sting of failure. Nobody learns the sting of rejection. So what happens is...
Is this dude really saying that young men don't learn the sting of rejection?
Here we go.
You're telling me that young men that go years without a date, that are incels, that cannot find a woman to give them kids, they don't know what the sting of rejection is?
Uh-oh. again, this shit is all well and great when you're saying it to black people, but the moment you start telling it to your own kids and grandkids, boomers and on back,
this is fucking laughable. All these boomers will be like, my participation trophies! My participation trophies! Bitch, Social Security is a participation trophy.
oops.
That's right! Social Security is a participation trophy. So once you drop that, then we can talk about young men's participation trophies. And what? You get a little shiny piece of plastic. Okay. Let's look at the women. Let's look at women who want to be wives, who want to have children, and are capable to do so. I don't see any of them. Boomers gladly enabled feminism because it made the returns on investment increase. Oh, wow. And now we're living in a post-feminist world, and young men don't want to work. Big fucking surprise.
Is a good amount of the 7 million men, not all of them, are, in this conversation that Mike had with this economist, are looking at screens based on the data. They say how much time they spend on screens. They get dopamine hits.
2,000 hours a year.
2,000 hours a
These
year.
7 million men, 25 to 54, are spending 2,000 hours a year on screens.
So self-medicating because they're scared to leave the cave, using your old analogy.
Not cave, it's mother's basement.
Right.
Mother's basement. Funny how the boomers use the same arguments as feminist wrenches, right? They're scared to leave mother's basement. They're looking at screens all day. Bitch, if I was in my mom's basement and I looked outside and I saw a bunch of rich boomer bitch capitalists wearing a top hat with a monocle swirling around their cane, asking me to go work at McDonald's to get assaulted by mystery meat Amerimuts, so I have the chance to what? Ain't no good woman out here to date. I'm not scared. These men aren't scared. There's no reason to leave.
I find it quite interesting that it's mom's basement. Always mom's basement. Always mom's basement. But if women were being also oppressed from apparently 24/7 all throughout human history, okay, fine. But from Gen X and boomers and stuff, then wouldn't it be dad's place because the women back then were just getting so oppressed out of the ownership of stuff? So wouldn't it really be dad's basement? But it's always mom's basement for some reason. I don't know.
You have denied young men the masculine endeavor. You have denied young men access to property. You have denied young men access to families. And you're saying they're scared because they don't want to get assaulted by entitled boomers and migrants in fast food workplaces. These arguments aren't going to work, you geriatric fuck. They're not going to work. There's no incentive to break your body for $10 an hour. Maybe, well, back in my day, back in 1970, I'd work a fast food job and pay for college.
I'm actually quite happy that this is being said not by some black person, but by a white person, because, you know, what he's saying now has been said from that's been said from way the hell back, not even the 90s, but I remember like an old, maybe not black and white, but an old video from like the was it the 60s or something about this black guy talking about getting damn good jobs to be able to support a family and all that and feel good about himself as a man and all that shit, you know, being able to do, you know, And he was damn good. In fact, you know what? Let me see if I can find it. Damn good jobs. Damn good jobs. Damn good job. Hold on. See, it doesn't auto start. Okay. Damn good jobs. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I'll know it by old dude. It looks old as hell. It looks old. The fuck? Anyway. Nice tits. What the hell's going on here? Now I gotta wash the equipment. Okay. Anyway. Let's try it like this. We want damn good jobs. It was old. It was from like the 1960s or something. Man talking about how he wants damn good jobs. Something respectable. Alright, yeah, I'm not going to find it. I don't want to take too long on this, but okay. And here it is now. Chronic is saying the same thing. Effectively.
Do you know what we call people who project their life experience on everybody else? If I could work at a fast food company and pay for college and pay for a car, obviously the young men today can do that. That's called bitch think. You're thinking like a bitch. You can't afford shit off these wages. Huh?
Wow, people have been saying that for how long now? And what were they told? Well, you're supposed to develop skills. It helps you flipping burgers will help you get skills. And then you'll move up, and then you'll go to middle management and whatever the fuck. Now they're trying to tell their own grandkids and kids the same shit that they told black people as a whole since God knows when. Well, it looks like Gen Y and Gen Z non-blacks are some niggas now.
The only people who want to take them are people whose families live in other countries.
I won't say yes or no to that, and whatever underlying tone that might mean, but people whose families live in other countries where even that little bit of crumbs can go infinitely farther in said countries. Okay? There's that.
That's right. American-born men have no reason to work to take shit from boomer middle managers for bullshit wages. I get it. I get it, Dave Ramsey. Back in the day, $10 an hour was a great job. But today, it's not worth anything. It's called inflation. You boomer boys sat back and let it happen. Thanks, boomers.
But the idea is they're afraid to put themselves out there. And here's what we know about work. So when someone succeeds in work, their self-esteem goes up. 2, they have financial independence or the opportunity for financial freedom. And then 3, they're a part of something bigger than themselves. It's a sense of belonging.
Dr. John?
Okay, well, he was about to say something, but this right here, what he just said, is what prompted this entire video. What he just said right there. Why? Simple. Because of me. Remember when I said keep that in mind for later? Well, here's that later. Look at me. I have a job where every other year, I bring home over 100,000. Well over 100,000. I'm in debt up to my freaking eyeballs, mainly because of school, to finish school. And in 2.5 years, I will be 100% debt free, as I've said in the other video, and probably the video just before this, and probably the video before that one as well. Okay? I have a job that is not paying me bullshit. Notice that. Sense of belonging, no. I don't do all that sense of belonging and you're part of a family. No, it's work. It's work. I'm trying to get in, trying to get out as fast as possible, and that's that. Don't want to be a part of any family or anything like that. However, I am bringing in money. I am bringing in money. Considering that we both more or less survived on my girl's income, we can both survive, and we don't have any kids, but I can literally support myself and her on my income alone. I literally could. On my income alone, especially with the way I live with my minimalist life. She's not exactly the most minimalist person, but I can budget the money to make it work. And that was just off my base salary each year, not including the mad overtime that shoots me past 100,000. The point is, I am able to live off what I make now. I am able to live comfortably off what I make now. So much so that I can get out of debt in 2.5 years. How many people can say that? 2.5 years from now. I have not even gotten my first paycheck from this job. 2.5 years from now. From 8/28/2023, when I started this job, 2.5 years from that time, that date, I will be 100% debt free. How many people can say that with the job that they have right now? And that is the point. So the reason why I'm feeling good about myself, especially after 6 months of no work, is because I have a job that is actually consequential and I'm getting consequential fucking pay. Plus guaranteed increases, guaranteed raises, far more than what anybody's probably going to get in the private sector. So, yes, you are in fact correct. So the question then becomes, which one of these companies who is trying to reduce expenses, including labor expenses, is going to afford people that? See how that works? I guarantee you somebody who's making $50 an hour is going to feel great about working at McDonald's versus somebody who's making $5 an hour. Flipping the same fucking burgers. Pay me $50 an hour, and you best believe I will find a way to be fast enough to make those McDoubles taste like gourmet fucking burgers each and every single time. I will figure it the fuck out for $50 an hour. Okay? For $5 an hour, however, are you sure that's apple juice? Are you sure? Are you sure? All right, let's keep going.
Did you hear that? If you work really hard for Shekel McGoystein at some large company that hates you, if you work for a company that promotes Me Too, if you work at a company that promotes BLM, if you work for a company that decks the halls with rainbow flags every June, you're gonna be part of a community. It's something bigger than yourself. The only thing bigger than yourself working for one of these major corporations is the boomer's retirement check. It's their 401k. I don't give a fuck about your 401k, bro. I don't give a fuck about your profit margins. Why would I give a fuck about a company's profits when at the drop of the hat they can just fire me, blackball me, cancel me, what have you? Nah. Go ask Enrique. Go ask Jesus. Open up the borders. Get your slaves from down south. I'm not interested. And those slaves from down south, they'll work hard, they'll scratch by a living, and they'll have children in the USA. You know what those children are going to think? They're going to think the same thing American men think today. Why the fuck would I do this? Why the fuck would I do this?
John Deloney will tell you your mental health goes up because your dignity, your autonomy,
That's it.
your ability to control your environment goes up. There's such a mental illness tie-in,
No question.
caused by not working.
That's right.
Caused by not making enough. Not making enough. No, I was not asking to be on the Forbes. I don't think anybody is asking to be on the goddamn Forbes list here. But when you're working a full-time job, or God knows how many full/part-time job, or jobs plural, full-time jobs. Everybody here has been saying, "Oh my God, I work full-time and I can't do this shit." And you can't, and you either can't afford rent, or can't afford food, or have to pick between rent and food. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's not so much working, because I tell you right now, the elites don't work. The people that have enough money to live to where they don't have to work it, they don't work. They have other people work, and they, I don't know, sit and plan their next move to acquire more money. But they're not working. They're not clocking in anywhere. Bill Gates ain't working. Floyd Mayweather ain't working. Okay? When Jobs was here, he wasn't working. They get other people to work while they sit here and they invest. Invest whatever. Usually, if not always money, but invest. Invest in vision, invest in that, but they're not, no. Okay? So when you're working, when you're able to afford food, clothing, shelter, be able to start paying off bills, so God forbid you might end up being debt-free one day, you're able to save, forget retirement, just rainy day or flash flood, you know? Yeah, all that shit you just said about mental happiness or whatever the hell it is, and then feeling of self, whatever, yeah, that works great. Well, that's all well and great, as long as people are paying. And that pay is able to kind of get past inflation. But not when you can go to the dollar store, get 20 things, and it'd be $500 fucking dollars. Okay. All right, let's keep going.
Literally. So this idea that you have not put gravel in the stomach of your kids, they have no grit, means as a parent you suck. And so you mommies need to throw your 25-year-old out of your basement yesterday and put him on the street and teach him to work.
No, man titty Ramsey. You don't want that. See, when young men are enticed by the comfort of pornography and video games, do you know what they're not? They're not violent. If every young man was thrown out on the streets tonight and told to mow work and mow bootstraps, there would be heads on pikes in the Capitol at the end of the week. The last thing you want is to make young men with nothing to lose, with no potential at owning land, with no potential at having families, struggle. You know what they're going to do? You know what these young men are going to do? Man, we need a place to sleep tonight. Hey, you see that mansion over there? Think of Boomer, Ramsey over here. Dave Ramsey. I think that's one of his 3 vacation homes. Nah, that's our vacation home. Let's fucking take it. It's just like, all these young men with no reason to lose and no families of their own, let's put them in a position where they either have to be a slave or invoke violence. Boomer, what the? This is typical boomer mentality. They can't comprehend people breaking the law. They can't comprehend not sending money to Israel. They can't comprehend a revolution. I'd never have a revolution. I got 4 vacation homes. I got 3 muscle cars. I got a 401k and Social Security. I would never go in a revolution. Why would a young man go in a revolution? It won't happen. We just gotta tell them my bootstraps. I'm telling you this for your own health and safety, Boomer. Do not put young men in that position. It's not gonna end well.
The bootstraps talk. Now, again, he's saying this as a white guy. White rage, ooh. Right? Again, I gotta ask. You got white people saying this now. Geez, my question is, black people have been dealing with this for how long now? How many hundreds of years? Right? For how long have black people been dealing with this? But yet, heads on pikes by the end of the week. Okay. Well, shit. Well, let's wrap this one up.
You're late to the party, but you need to do this. You are doing him a disservice. You are doing America a disservice.
Of course this guy loves America. If I could tell every single boomer one statement from young men, we fucking hate America. We hate it. It's a giant corporate prison farm. I can't stand America. What does America stand for? Freedom. Giving rich boomercrats and rich banker boys the freedom to ruin any chance at having a valuable life. America is the great Satan Bin Laden was based.
You are doing your neighbors a disservice. You're doing the mental health community a disservice. You're risking his increased likelihood of depression, anxiety, and suicide.
That's exactly right.
You are doing all of these things because you're letting Junior play Call of Duty 2,000 hours a year in your basement, and he ain't ever been called to any duty.
Yeah. And the irony is you're doing all of that under the guise of helping your kid feel good about themselves, and the very thing that they need to feel good about themselves is to go out and do good.
Yeah.
Young men get called to duty every day. There's a U.S. recruiting crisis for the military. Every day young men get approached, get berated with ads to join the military. Serve your country. Serve your country. What do I get? What do I get for answering the call of duty? $20,000 a year in a VA that hates you if you're male? Oh, it's like me going up to some ram chick in the club. You're being called to duty. What do I get? You get to suck my schlong in the bathroom. And that's it. Young men are called to duty. Everywhere you go, there's boomers begging for you. Please join the military. We don't have anybody joining the military. Please work for McDonald's. We really need work. Please work for Lowe's. Please work for Home Depot. We need you. Suck my dick. Suck my dick. I'm not answering any call from a boomer. I refuse.
It's the wussification of America.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of wussies.
Yeah.
Is what it amounts to. And, seriously, a good cowboy boot in the butt of this whole thing would be helpful.
So, we're wussies because we don't want to sacrifice ourselves for boomer companies. Okay. Now, you open the arena of violence, old man, old man titty Ramsey, you open the arena of violence, who's going to win? A bunch of fat, lazy, alcoholic boomers who are checking their 401ks every day? Or a bunch of young men that have absolutely nothing to lose? We are on the precipice of extreme violence. Don't push us over it. Don't do it. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your 401k. It's not healthy for your multiple swimming pools. Don't do it, bro. Don't do it. But the eternal boomer can't help himself. He will push his morals and what he thinks is right based on an America that doesn't exist anymore. They're talking to you like it's 1982. Just a firm handshake is going to get you in the door. Don't get me wrong. Young men are great at making firm grips, whether on their schlongs or on the necks of their oppressors. But don't flip that coin, boomer. Don't flip that coin.
It really, really would. It just pisses me off. I mean, this is just a thing where you just need to work. Oh my God. 7 million.
Notice how he says just need to work. He doesn't say need to be able to live. He doesn't say need to be able to pay rent, need to be able to... Sweatshop laborers in China work. Sweatshop laborers in pick third world country here. I mean, China's not third world, but pick any third world country here. Insert third world country here. They work. That's all Americans need to do. Just work. Didn't say anything about being able to live. Notice that. Didn't say being able to cover all bills. And didn't say being able to buy nutritious food, not just junk if you can even afford that. He didn't say survive and thrive. He just said work. Slaves work. Do they not? Since when has anybody cared about a slave over and above keeping them at least biologically alive so they can keep on working? But even then, hey, you know what? Just as Peter Joseph said in one of those Zeitgeist movies, either the first or second one, the slavery of the past, antebellum slavery, required you to feed and house your slaves. Okay? At the risk of me sounding like I'm trying to say anything positive of slavery, obviously not, right? Economic slavery forces you to feed and house yourself. And as we can see, it's getting to be a bit impossible to do that. Alright? Okay.
And they call them men in this article. I'll call them males.
Ah, yes, the guilt tripping, because God knows you never do that when it comes to women. But when it comes to men, oh, we can sit here and say, yes, you are a man, no, you're not a man, based on whatever whim, which usually favors women, but in this case favors whoever wants to then put your manhood in question because you're not a real man if you don't do this. You're a real man if you do this. But let anybody go try telling women what constitutes a real woman or not. Real woman is whatever the hell women want for themselves. Real man is whatever the hell women want. Or in this case, what he thinks. But by and large, 9.999 times out of 10, whatever the hell women want. So, yep. Here we go with the female tactic of you're not a real man because.
All right, males, 25 to 40, 7 million of them, literally sitting on their butts. And someone else is caring for them. The government, their mommy, their live-in girlfriend.
Kind of wondering how that is, considering that, again, having a girlfriend, living, or whatever the hell, I'd kind of think that you're getting some ass. But, as we know, roughly 80% of dudes gets no bitches. So what? These women are maybe not protecting, but providing for the 20% of men that they... You see where this goes? You see where this goes? There you go.
Who thinks he's cute?
Where are we at?
Yeah. So it's man's fault. It's the man's fault that he lives in a weak system. No, it's your fault. I have no sympathy for boomers' emotions. You can get fucked. You can die in a retirement home surrounded by people that weren't in this country 2 years ago. And I'll be watching through the window, laughing, just like this.